I've personally myself, I've gone from a support to a main top lane, realistically.
Okay.
And one hero that I'm seeing, and I've played quite a bit, and she's absolutely devastating, is CP Jewel top.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, it's very much a late game hero, so if you do pick her, you've got to be really careful of the early game. But once she has 2 to 3 items, damage items, her man, her all of her abilities, but obviously, of course, the ultimate does so much damage. So I'm definitely hoping we do see a Jewel in any of these drafts being picked up by either of these teams. So we do see the first ban is Flicker on the side of Assert Dominance. Definitely not a bad ban. Flicker can be definitely a little bit dangerous, a little bit risky, and taking away your as the first side, you don't want to ban anything like a Finn or a Yates to begin with. So it means that you get one of those heroes, and most noticeably, you want to pick up Finn first, I believe, because that's what Terang is targeting. The second ban that's coming out from Assert Dominance is Churnwalker, so that also makes sense. So I really do like the draft phase that's coming out right now of Assert Dominance, but then on the side of 7K Riptide, they took away the Finn. Now, they were always in a bit of a pickle of a situation, but straight away, Sir Dominance has gone for the Anka instead of either the Arden or the Yates. What do you make of that, Shmushman?
They're probably feeling pretty confident with one of their players on Anka. Anka has been reworked, obviously, been nerfed quite a bit since the last patch, but still a very powerful hero.
Yeah, she's a very powerful hero indeed, and she's either generally being banned or picked up. But either way, when you get the Anchor first pick, that does leave the likes of Arden and Yates, which we've seen picked up by 7K Riptide. So I do like the first two picks that has been picked up by them, but it leaves open the likes of Lorelei. You highlighted and mentioned that Lorelei is a very strong captain right now in the meta. You also talked about Varia as well. Varia easily one of the best mid laners right now. But you still have the likes of Idris. And if Idris can be got onto the Varia, he can do a lot of damage, but that's going to have to be really followed up by a good front line coming out from Arden. But we do see 7K Riptide go for the third pick of his Celeste. Celeste is also really strong right now, probably just behind Varia in my opinion, but still has a very nice late game. You just got to be careful of the energy and how quickly that does go down. We do see people starting to max out overdrive her core collapse because the core collapse does not consume any energy. So that's definitely interesting. But with the fourth pick of 7K Riptide is a grace. I do like the draft that's coming out from both sides so far. What do you make of it yourself, Shmushman?
Well, we're seeing a lot of CC coming out from this 7K team side. Oh, and just as I say that, I do like to see the Silvernail coming out. Well, I'll be interested to see if a team does pick up a Jewel, just as you highlighted earlier, because she's so devastating. And when she maxes out her ultimate, even without any additional cooldown Imperium, that is 30 seconds that you can send out just one of those nasty ults.
Oh man, it's actually ridiculous on late game cooldown. It's you can easily go a team fight and a half and being able to use that ultimate twice. And I also like the fact that Assert Dominance picked up Silvernail, because actually Silvernail is simply a direct counter to Yates. So by picking up that Silvernail, you're going to be able to zone out the enemy team quite nice. So you're going to be able to really reposition them. And then when you have like the glaive to knock anybody like the Ring or the Celeste into the path of the Silvernail barriers, that's really going to help Assert Dominance focus on the right target at the right time. As the last hero being picked up by 7K Riptide is Ringo, which isn't necessarily the worst pickup, but will be risked to the likes of the Glaive and even the Varia and the Silvernailets. But what do you think of the two comps that's come out from the two teams?
I think these are both pretty solid comps overall. You've got a lot of power picks on both sides. Yes, they did give away the Yates and the Arden, but they did secure an Anka, they did secure a Lorelei and a Varia on top of a Silvernail. It's a lot of damage and a lot of CC that can come out in good ways. And adding a glaive could be just a comfort pick. And same with the Ringo coming out. Not exactly, as you said, as popular in the meta right now, but Ringo does kind of always have a place, and you can't discount the crit damage that he can provide.
Exactly. But we are into this first game. And, Shmushu, take it over to you for your very first, essentially, tournament cast of your Vainglory casting somewhat career.
Thank you, Imperium. Just a big shout out to Imperium for being such an incredible bro during this time of getting introduced to Vainglory casting. And guys, get some big hype coming up, because this is the first game that we are broadcasting in this Where's the Trophy tournament. Guys, this is grassroots. This was entirely community-based. We are so happy to be a part of this. Not just because of the competition itself, but to see how this community is really coming together to support this game and support each other. And let's just hope for a really clean game with no lag, no problems, and just a lot of good things coming out. So we have Assert Dominance and 7K Riptide. A lot of fighting going over this Crystal Treant right away. Keep in mind in this patch, there is a bit of healing and regen that comes when you take it. And Celeste, Jackskin will take that away from Assert Dominance.
Yeah, we did see Cocoa Butter along with Trey and Vizzle take over the 7K Riptide CP bus, so it's an even trade already, and we do see 1.5 minutes in this game. The goal difference is minimalistic at this stage. Shmushu, we do see that Yates and Lawson Crowd on this Ringo are looking to put a little bit of pressure on the Flux. Now, what is interesting is it's very uncommon that we see a top lane glaive in the current meta, so I'm definitely interested to see how that does pay off. I do like the fact that Butter My Aggro is on this anchor in jungle. We'll be able to provide a lot of gank potential along with the Will of the Wolves and even Cocoa Butter in the mid and bottom lane respectively. So let's see how Butter My Aggro does perform later on once he kind of hits that Aftershock power spike, which is what I'm expecting the anchor to pick up as first item. But nice stun coming out from Train Vizzle.
That's a big stun and a lot of damage coming out. Jackskin's getting pretty low. We'll see if Lorelai's able to escape with her life from this Grace. She does at this time. We are seeing a couple of flasks popped, which might hurt them. Down goes Grace. Is that about to... Yes! Varia takes first blood. That's a lot of money in her pocket. She's going to love having that. Absolutely class kill by that Varia.
That's what I talked about. Butter My Aggro on this anchor, rotating between mid and bottom lane. That is the current jungle meta, and I like the fact that these amateur teams are understanding this and playing to that advantage. We saw the couple of items picked up by Butter My Aggro and now going straight onto the healing tree to try and increase that goal difference, to increase that goal. Now it is still very even, but let's see what can happen. As you do see Cocoa Butter joining the rest of the bottom lane and the jungle respectively, and now they will look to take on the Crystal Treant on the side of 7K Riptide. 7K Riptide a little bit behind to begin with, but then again I think they have a bit more of a late game comp. Let's see how it does play out on this Crystal Treant.
We got a lot of bodies coming over by the CP Treant. Yates does pull it away, but Cocoa Butter on this Varia will be able to take it, gets stunned on her way out. But wow, Yates might have pulled that CP Treant just a little bit too early.
Yeah, just a little bit too early indeed, my friend. But either way, that's good stuff coming up from Assert Dominance. They are definitely starting to, pun intended, insert their dominance in this game. The goal difference is about 8 to 9. Well, actually, all on the K at this stage of this game, with once again Lawson Crowd and Matches dominating that bot lane, putting Flux under a lot of pressure. The only thing is that Matches is kind of, in my opinion, staying in that kind of top lane or the bottom lane on 7K Riptide a little bit too much. We are seeing Butter My Aggro on the side of Assert Dominance, in my opinion, being a bit more effective in that jungle position in the first 4 to 5 minutes of this game, because we start, like I said, that goal difference is about a K in the favor of Assert Dominance, and that comes down to the first blood and the CS difference that we're seeing overall, as we do see Jackson on the side of 7K Riptide only has 12 CS, whereas Cocoa Butter has a massive 38. Shmushu. That is really not going to be good for 7K Riptide and getting to that late game stage potential with Train Vizzle on this lower line and Cocoa Butter. Like I said, providing a lot of mid lane dominance, and Butter My Aggro now waiting in the bush.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. When you're a Celeste, you really need to make sure that you're getting to the late game before your opponent, especially if it's someone like a Varia. Varia's going to come online with that alternating current and with that Dragon's Eye, I would expect to see. And you really don't want to be in a situation where that Varia is getting to those power spikes before you.
That's definitely true. However, just to point out though, fair play to Lost in the crowd on the Riptide has gotten Sourblade already 5.5 minutes into his game. That is ahead of Will of the Wolves because he is on 42 CS compared to 27. So kind of even trade between the bot laners in his jungle. I'm sorry, the mid laners of each respective team with the Hellfire Brute coming out in Flux, and that's going to be Flux losing his life, and the turret will be pushed by Lost in the crowd. That could be the first turret going over to 7k Riptide, and maintaining that goal difference to a very minimal stage of the game. So I like what's coming out from 7k Riptide, even though I said the aids could rotate more. Credit to Ringo, has really kept to his own in this game as they do look to take this Crystal Tree and Shmushu, maybe going down and being able to put a little bit more pressure on the Cocoa Butter.
Ringo putting a lot of damage on this Cocoa Butter. Who win on this Grace is going to dive in. Lorelei already has her ult. It's been popped on Cocoa Butter. That's a water wall keeping her safe. Big Varia ultimate coming out now, but Varia will go down. Even though the ultimate does come out, they should be able to get away without getting hit by those big lightning blasts coming from the sky with that hammer being dropped. Another kill goes down. Yeah, this Ringo, as you pointed out, is doing really well. 47 CS to this Silvernail's 38 at this point, plus 2 kills. What do you make of that, Imperium?
Well, part of that comes down to the fact that, like I said, Glaive is not really top lane meta right now. It just hasn't really got that much of a natural defense and tankiness to really hang out with the Ringo in that lane, whereas we see that Max Topher on the side of 7k Riptide is really provide a lot of defense, plus that kind of core damage with that weapon power offense. But let's see what
Buttermite aggro goes in hard and takes out Lost in the crowd. Down goes the Ringo. This Anka opted for a Shatter Glass. That's going to be just so much damage coming out with every single ability, every single activation of a perk. And speaking of, she might take out matches, but a big stun comes out from Jackskin. Buttermite aggro ultimates away using those clones. Big Solar Storm coming out from this Celeste. Buttermite aggro with those 2 buffs is probably going to port back home here. And we might see a little bit ending of the aggression right here. 8 minutes in, 1 turret down on each side, 2 kills apiece. How do you see this shaping up going into the mid-game, Imperium?
Well, yeah, 8 minutes in, Shmushu, and the goal difference is in the favor of Assert dominance. Full credit to this Anka getting the kill on Lost in the crowd. That allowed Flux to really push that mid lane, but that top lane, and secure that turret for Assert dominance. But what I do like about the fact that Lost in the crowd has got that first turret, it will allow him to really rotate to that mid lane a little bit more. We saw it happen already in the couple of minutes ago, should I say, when he got the kill on Varia. So if he can push that wave and then go down to mid lane and put a little bit more pressure on the Cocoa Butter and allow Jackson to kind of get into that late stage of the game, that will really help 7k Riptide's advancement into this game. We do see Cocoa Butter going into the Jackson, but the core collapse does connect and does put Cocoa Butter into his place. Look at this.
Buttermite aggro. He's going really, really low. Lost in the crowd is doing so much damage. Pops the flash to get away from that Stormforged spear that Varia Cocoa Butter is sending out. Buttermite aggro will keep his life at this time.
And Shmushu, this is a lot of core, as we do see. Celeste has now gone down, and with that lack of support coming out from 7k Riptide, that did expose Jackson to being put down by both Buttermite aggro and Cocoa Butter together. But there's a lot of core weapon power defense being put on these. But let's see what matches
Buttermite aggro goes down, ganks from the bushes, but finds himself in a 3v2. That's going to be Ringo getting 2 kills, taking out Varia as well. With Varia having 2 kills, there might be a little bit of a bounty coming out. Big ultimate Hellfire Brew, but it will go onto this Terrain Visible, who's kind of tanky. They're seeking to put a lot of damage onto this mid lane turret. It doesn't seem like Terrain Visual is going to be able to do too much, even though Lost in the Crowd is low. He's able to just shoot from afar, and with Celeste coming in, they're actually pulling away as they wait for this next minion wave.
Really great rotations kind of from Lost in the Crowd on 7K Riptide, really helping their team to kind of keep in this game, even though they're about like 1.5K gold behind. They're kind of getting the kills. They're overall ahead in terms of kills at least, so that's really good coming out from their team. But like I say, a lot of weapon power offense coming out on both teams. We see Will of the Wolves on the Silvernail has got a Sarblade, Flux has got Serpent's Mask, which I think is interesting. Don't necessarily agree with it, but let's see how it does play. And then we do see Matches has got Spell, Sword, and Max Topher has got that Sarblade. So this Arden is going to be doing a lot of work as the ultimate has been activated by Matches into this mid lane.
Here he comes. He's going really low. Lorelei picking up the kill in this situation. Jackskin's getting low, as is Terrain Visual. Cocoa Butter going further and further down. Big CP buff damage coming out from Jackskin with that Frostburn. Only a Frostburn at this point, and still just hitting like a truck. Big Heliogenesis explodes, takes Cocoa Butter even lower, but they're focusing on this mid lane turret. A big stun for Who Win. Will that be the end of Flux? Oh, with just a hair, he gets away, and they manage to bait out Who Win. Big kill for Cocoa Butter, big living for Flux, as they do a lot of damage onto that mid lane turret and don't seem to lose anyone in that circumstance.
Well, when you look at the itemization, you said it yourself, Jackson only has a Frostburn straight away. By the way, that is really not the best first item in my opinion. You want to be going for that Spellfire, but then as you do see, a turret has been destroyed down at the bottom lane. We do see Cocoa Butter has got 2 damage items, the core 2 damage items for Varia right now, which is Alternating Current and Dragon's Eye, able to build up those stacks with that AoE damage, and has got an infusion on his belt, which he has activated.
Big damage coming out into Lost in the Crowd, but Grace shows up in time for a divine intervention to keep Lost in the Crowd going. Even after that, still so low. Here comes out a Fire Brew. Will that take out Terrain Visual? No, does pop a reflex block just in time. Fox and Matches showing up to this mid lane fight. Flux gets pulled. Oh, but he gets an afterburn away. Out comes a Fountain of Renewal. People are going low. People are coming back high. Out comes an ultimate. Who Wins getting really low, has a reflex block. Silvernail doing so much damage with that tension though, and that Sorrow Blade, and they're bullying 7K Riptide out of this mid lane right now, seeking to take a couple kills and take this mid lane turret at the same time. Flux taking the aggro from the turret. They will take out the Yates, and they will take out the Celeste and the turret all in one go. They've got a 5K gold lead, and they're going onto this tier 2 turret in the mid lane. Big ultimate from Arden. What a gauntlet. They take out 2 kills in the counter punch. Cocoa Butter stuck in the wrong side of the field. Down goes Cocoa Butter to Lost in the Crowd, who loses his life also. Everybody's dying, and it's an ace for Assert Dominance, who take another mid lane turret, losing 3 people, still pushing. Oh my goodness. I'm going to need to catch my breath from that one a little bit, Imperium. What happened there? Break it down, my friends.
So Assert Dominance obviously got the key lead in terms of the mid lane turret and got the 2 kills. Where they should have done was they should have just backed out straight away. In backing out straight away and going porting back, they could have, while maintaining their lead in terms of turrets and even gold, they could have really poured it back, itemized up, and they actually could have started an engagement in the Ghost Wing to either secure or engage on a team fight. They kept where they were going, and it was a fantastic gauntlet that came out from 7K Riptide, but because they were low on people and they were kind of low on health in their own situation, they initially got a couple of kills, but they overall lost the team fight and got aced because of it. They should have really backed off, and they wouldn't have lost that second turret, and they could have really kind of regained their own composure. But either way, this is Assert Dominance keeping their dominance in their own favor, because they're now 7K gold ahead, and this is why you don't let Anchor through.
We've got another team fight breaking out. Butter My Egg Roll just kind of showing up and saying, hey, I'm here, deal with it. Big ultimate from Varia. Another A ability has landed onto this Ringo, but it was not, the blink was not activated. They're pursuing, coming back towards this tier 3 turret on the bot lane side for Assert dominance. Machas is low, Lost in the Crowd is low. Meanwhile, Split pushing from Flux just goes ahead and take another top turret. Doesn't seem like anyone's going to lose their lives. People are opting to back off. I don't know if Assert dominance is going to go onto this Ghost lane. Seems like they are. They really should.
They should, because right now they can actually win a 4v5 situation. Now, it would be wise for Flux to join the rest of his team around the Ghost Wing area as the Solar Storm completely disconnects from any members of the team and does connect onto the Ghost Wing. But Flux, rotate down. You're not doing anything.
Oh, here comes a big gauntlet. Crucible's just a little bit late. Will of Wolves is getting really low, but the Water Wall's going to come out. Look at all the barrier onto that Silvernail. But now it's down. Lost in the Crown getting healed by Divine Intervention. But Ringo and Sky, Silvernail, and Grace and Yates all lose their lives. Quadra kill for Anka coming out with the ace. They're going to take Ghostwing, no problem. Maybe push on the Black Claw. And could this be really the end for the side of 7K Riptide in this first match? What do you think, Imperium?
If you don't have first pick, ban Anka. It's as simple as that. Straight away, like, you don't let Anka through. Now, in fairness, Assert Dominance have really played quite well as a team. A couple of little mistakes here or there, but the second Butter My Egg Roll, who's a fantastic player individually, got that Shatter Glass. It was instant power spike, and they built up on that power spike. They really engaged hard, and when you engage hard onto a carry like Ringo that really doesn't have that much defense as an anchor, you push the Ringo away from the rest of his team. When you push Ringo away, you can generally be a quite aggressive carry. Shmushu, you really push the rest of the enemy team away, and you are able to dictate the team fights. And we've seen Assert Dominance do that, and we've seen with their CS lead, with their itemization lead, the Varia has had plenty of room and plenty of freedom to build up those Dragon's Eye stacks. We're seeing Flux being quite effective in these deep fights with these afterburns, with that kind of Sarblade Surface Mask. I would actually have agreed with the Tension Bow second item, but maybe because Will of Wolves has got the Tension Bow, it's kind of like, well, let's kind of balance out that damage of burst with pure damage that comes out. But the Black Claw has been unleashed by Assert Dominance. Let's see what they can do in this team fight.
They still have the Ghost Queen buff active. Machaz is getting really, really low. He's going to escape the situation, but who win? Down goes the Roam super early in this team fight, and Black Claw's matching down. Machaz will end up losing his life to a little Caustic Blessing coming out from Willow Wolves, picking up his 4th kill. And they're coming on to this last turret. Butter My Egg Roll's getting low, does pop a flash. Max Defer, caught out alone, seeks to take on the Anka one-on-one and loses his life in the process. That's 4 dead, leaving, 3 dead, I'm sorry, now 4 dead, leaving Jaxkin alone to defend this armory, which doesn't stand a chance. We've got a big old dragon. Khaleesi saying, take out the Vein Crystal, and it looks like Assert Dominance will go ahead with a 1-0 lead at 18 minutes and 17 seconds. Wow.
Just one thing to point out, because it's so easy to talk about the carries, the junglers, the top laners. Train Vizzle, that last fountain in that team fight engagement as the dragon was bearing down, that was really clutch. And the reason why I want to mention that is because supports sometimes don't get enough of a mention when they do a good job. And Train Vizzle on the Lorelei was really effective. Yes, I suppose being able to support the Varia and having that mid lane advantage made it easier, but you cannot deny the fact that she was very effective in her fountains and in her position and allowing the rest of her team to bear down on two teamfight engagements. So that was a great play overall by Assert Dominance. Like I said, they being the A side and being the first pick, they kind of had a slight advantage in terms of draft. They're able to dictate the first picks at least, and getting the Anka was just a big part of them winning. I still question the Glaive top lane pick, because I think if 7K Riptide had a banned the Anka and let's say hadn't have let the Anka through and maybe had picked a little bit safer and itemization, they would have been able to really have put pressure from that point of view. But either way, Assert Dominance, they take this game 1 and as we go into this game 2, let's see if they can carry that momentum forward. Shmishu, it's going to be really